Our Ask the Pastor question is that in Revelation 21, what need would there be for an angel to be guarding the gates? I read this in the Wycliffe Bible Commentary. In Revelations 27, Satan will be released from his prison. Does not 1,000 mean divine completeness and the glory of God? I'm getting a disconnect. So in my previous Ask the Pastor, we had a similar question coming from Revelations that had a literal and a figurative understanding regarding the healing leaves. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that, I would encourage you to look back. This one is similar, but rather than a literal or figurative understanding, this is a literal and figurative understanding. And I would agree with the Wycliffe Bible Commentary in its understanding of divine completeness and the glory of God. So how I'll explain that is in chapters Revelations 1 through 20, we are looking forward to the victory of God. This includes our present time in that we are looking forward to God's victory. But in Revelation 21, it actually takes a switch. They're looking back. They're looking back at victory in perspective. This is the time of full divine completeness, and the hope of Christ's return is fully realized and established. So our curious verse comes in Revelations 21:12, which says, "It has a great high wall with 12 gates, with 12 angels at the gates. On the gates were written the names of the 12 tribes of Israel." For us, though, part of our disconnect is what we are imagining an ideal city to be. When we imagine an ideal city, we don't really imagine walls or gates. Our modern view of an ideal city is dramatically different than a first century Jewish perspective of a city. And we usually don't have gates to cities. And when we do imagine a gates, it's probably from some medieval movie where there's big action scene and there's like sieges going on and things like that. But what we have to do for this one is we have to put a literal and figurative understanding going on here. The literal part is pretty straightforward. Most likely there will be some form of gates and angels at those gates, meaning in the New Jerusalem, the divide between the material and the spiritual perspective will be completely gone. We will be able to see angels like we see each other. And these angels will be very majestic and powerful. But this brings us to our main question. Why are there angels at the gates at the first place? And this is where we turn to our figurative and our symbolic understanding. What does a guarded gate mean? It means two things: security and declaration. And those two messages are what the Apostle John is sending us about the gates and the angels. In security, the message is not the threat outside. There is no threat outside. It's rather security within. The connection of the wall and gate is that it is guarded and there is security within the city. A guarded gate means that the city is secure, it's safe, and it's whole. But an empty gate means the city is empty, unaware, or it's lost. By having somebody standing at a gate, it sends a message to everyone that the city is safe and it is secure. A supernatural angel who does not need rest, get tired, or give up, that's the perfect watchman for a great city. Not because there's any threats, but because there's perfect eternal security going on forever. But a gate also has a declaration that is much farther than just an entry-exit to a city. It's actually a place where in ancient times they made announcements, they made proclamations, they did formal business, and even justice. An angel standing at the gate is one who is constantly declaring the goodness of God and the beauty of God. A beautiful image of worship and proclamation that does not grow tired at any points. So the angels at the gate, they don't talk about a threat coming outside or a danger from somewhere. It speaks of security and the goodness of God. And it takes both a literal and a figurative perspective, is that realizing these angels are a magnificent representation of a great city that is secure within, alive, robust, and declaring God's goodness at all time. The message of the angels is not a threat outside, but there is completeness, security, and goodness in God's New Jerusalem. And that's what we're looking forward to as well.